Fair use. Daily reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. July 31st. A prayer for all seasons. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and wisdom to know the difference. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 125. The power of this prayer is overwhelming in that its simple beauty parallels the AA fellowship. There are times when I get stuck while reciting it, but if I examine the section which is troubling me, I find the answer to my problem. The first time this happened, I was scared, but now I use it as a valuable tool. By accepting life as it is, I gain serenity. By taking action, I gain courage, and I thank God for the ability to distinguish between those situations I can work on and those I must turn over. All that I have now is a gift from God: my life, my usefulness, my contentment, and this program. The serenity enables me to continue walking forward. Alcoholics Anonymous is the easier, softer way. Courage to Change One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, July 31st. A source of friction between my alcoholic loved one and myself has always been housekeeping. I usually feel so overwhelmed by all the things that need doing that I am not able to get organized. So when he drinks, he rages about whatever needs dusting, scrubbing, or picking up. Recently, we were cleaning up the kitchen after a big breakfast. Without thinking, I moved the containers on one refrigerator shelf and wiped up a spill. No big deal, but one part of the refrigerator was now clean. I thought, maybe that's all there is to cleaning house. If I do one small task at a time, I'd get something accomplished. Then the light went on inside my head. That's what one day at a time is all about. When I take one day, one moment, one task at a time, and really concentrate on it, a lot more gets done. Today's reminder: when I catch myself feeling overwhelmed or not being able to get anything done because there is so much to do that I don't know where to start, I'll stop for a moment and remind myself to take one step, one task, one day at a time. There is a quote from This is Al-Anon, and it reads, "Remembering that we can only live one day at a time removes the burdens of the past, keeps our attention on the present, and keeps us from fearing the future." Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, July 31st. Freedom from Active Addiction. Narcotics Anonymous offers only one promise, and that is freedom from active addiction, the solution that eluded us for so long. Basic text, page 106. NA offers no promises other than freedom from active addiction. It is true that some of our members meet with financial success in recovery. They buy nice houses, drive new cars, wear fine clothes, and form beautiful families. These outward signs of prosperity are not the lot of all of our members, however. A great many of us never achieve financial success. This does not necessarily reflect on the quality of our recovery. When we are tempted to compare ourselves to these other seemingly more affluent members, it is good to remember why we came to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. We came because our lives had fallen down around us. We were emotionally, physically, and spiritually defeated. Our basic text reminds us that in desperation we sought help from each other in Narcotics Anonymous. We came because we were beaten. For addicts, even one day clean is a miracle. When we remember why we came to Narcotics Anonymous and what condition we arrived, we realize that material wealth pales in comparison to the spiritual riches we have gained in recovery. Just for today, I have been given a spiritual gift greater than material wealth, my recovery. I will thank the God of my understanding for my freedom from active addiction. Today, Emotions Anonymous, July 31st. Reflection for today. If I owed a debt and paid it in full, would I continue to pay the same debt? If I did, my sanity would be questioned. Yet I returned to my higher power again and again, asking forgiveness for the same thing. By hanging on to my guilt, I was unable to be receptive to growth and healing. I no longer believe I have to condemn myself, even for not living up to my own reasonable expectations. Once I have made amends, I need to be willing to forgive myself. Meditation for today. If I begin to hang on to guilt, remind me how defeating this behavior is. Today I will remember to hang on to guilt is to cop out. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics' dysfunctional families. July 31st. Isolation. Our experience shows that you cannot recover in isolation. BRB, page 127. Many of our childhood memories center around the isolation we felt in our homes while growing up. We may have had a few or no childhood friends. To have friends could have placed us in a position where they would want to come to our house, and we couldn't risk that. The lack of close friendships deepened the sadness and loneliness we already faced on a regular basis. That loneliness also affected us as adults, where many of us felt a social awkwardness that fueled both addiction and isolation. We experienced the feeling of being alone, even in a crowd, and we felt lonely even when we were in a relationship. Fear of failure, lack of trust, and fear of abandonment compounded things by leading many of us to choose others who also lacked the skills to have a healthy relationship. Attending ACA meetings is the first step in breaking the pattern of loneliness and isolation. As we keep coming back, we are amazed to hear our own stories coming out of the mouths of others in the room. We realize we don't have to be alone in our despair. We have found people who will love and accept us even before we can love and accept ourselves. In ACA, we are home, maybe for the first time in our lives. The affirmation reads, "On this day, I will allow my fellow travelers to touch my life and know they will support me through my journey." Please share, subscribe, like, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be. Remember that you are not alone and that recovery is possible, one day at a time.